up, guys? This is the FSC Speed Shop. I'm Matt Fastcheck, and this is my new car, 1983 Datsun 280ZX. We're about to work on it.
What's up, guys? Steve here. You know Matt, my son, all the other stuff that he's helped me out with around here. We've brought in this new car for him. This car used to be his older brother's. This right here is a 1983 Datsun 280ZX powered by a small block Chevy. The problem with the car is real simple. It hasn't been set up right. There's some tuning issues with the engine. I know, right? It's a carburetor engine. How bad can that be? It's real simple. It's just timing stuff. We did get this car from my son in Hawaii. It was shipped out of Honolulu, sent to Tacoma, and then we picked it up with Orwell, the big 1984 Peterbilt Cabover. Funny, that's an 83, that's an 84. But anyway, my 17-year-old son has his driver's license, obviously, and this is the car that his brother gave him. I just had to handle the shipping side of things. So here it is, already insured and registered. That's how we got it off the island, in case you were wondering how the heck you managed that. So now we're gonna go ahead and handle the timing issues and explain what issues it has. So Matt, without further ado, open her up. This car does need the hood pins. It's not just for show. Because of the Chevy small block, where the original latch held the hood closed was where the distributor would be. It does still have its safety latch up on the hood here, as you can see. But where the original latch was, it was where the distributor is. So hood pins are actually required. It's not just a speed mod just to look cool. By the way, here we are. It's a 350 cubic inch Chevy V8. And it's not the most it's not the most competently built or installed engine, meaning that this car did have the 350 swap prior to my son getting it. It had a severe overheating problem. They diagnosed it as head gaskets. They did put new heads, new intake, and a new cam in it. Unfortunately, something got messed up and the wrong cam was put with the wrong intake. It's got a single plane intake and a low RPM band cam. So I'm not sure which we're going to run. I think we're just going to wind up changing the cam, but also the timing was not set right and the vacuum advance was not set properly at all. I got it running better while I visited Sean in Hawaii. However, I never did mess with the curb timing on it, so we're going to go ahead and mess with that. The engine does lack in power. For what it is, it should be much more powerful. Matt, this plate right here has numbers on there to show you, zero, top dead center, okay, and then X amount of degrees prior to top dead center, or okay, BTDC, before top dead center. Okay. So get yourself a rag with some brake clean, or hit it with brake clean and okay, wipe it down with a rag so you can read those numbers. Then we can set your curb timing. What I've done is I've now cleaned it and I marked 0 with a silver Sharpie pen. Now up higher towards the top of the screen is before top dead center. So the engine rotates. And if you're facing the engine rotates in a clockwise rotation. So it's from the top down to the bottom. So from top screen to bottom screen is its rotation. Up towards the top of the screen becomes before top dead center. Obviously, lower part of the screen would be after top dead center. So now that we know the timing mark, now we'll go ahead and put a timing light on it. But first we have to find out which cylinder is number 1 cylinder. Do you remember which cylinder is number 1 cylinder and why is it number 1 cylinder?
That one, I believe.
Why?
If I remember correctly, it's always the one that's shifted forward. In Chevys, there's always an offset for that, for one side compared to the other. The side that's more in front and the front most is number 1, I believe. Because I believe Chevy alternates their cylinders. So this one's number 2.
Okay.
That's 3. That's 4.
Your answer is right, and you didn't know why.
Okay.
On all engines, the forwardmost part of the engine okay, is number 1 cylinder. That's okay, on all engines.
Okay.
Now, firing order runs different depending on some makes. Okay. Chevrolet runs the order of cylinders. In other words, which number is number 1, mm-hmm, number 2, number 3 is based on crankshaft position. Okay. Ford does it differently. Mm-hmm. Ford runs the bank that number 1 is on, 1, 2, 3, and 4, then mm-hmm, goes to 5, 6, 7, 8. Where Chevy goes 1, 2, because that's the most forward cylinder. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So not only do you have to know your firing order, you also have to know which make you're dealing mm-hmm, with to know which cylinder do they call number 2, number 3, and so forth. Okay. On a Chevy, it goes straight off the crank. Okay. So you are correct. Number 1 cylinder is the forward left cylinder. Okay. Up front, driver's side. Okay. So now Since we know it runs, the firing order's done right, follow your wire from number 1 cylinder to your distributor, so then I can hook the timing light to it. You always time it on number 1.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and trace your wire around.
Well, number 1 spark plug is there with this gray wire, which is right next to this red one.
Now that begs another question. Why do we have a mismatch of kits between red wires and gray wires? I think the red wires were labeled MSD. I thought I saw an MSD label. Yeah, I did. No, they're not MSD though. Where did I see? I saw something that said MSD on this damn. Yeah, right here. The red wires are MSD.
Oh, what does that mean?
Well, that's who makes them.
Oh, okay.
So
this one says 8mm.
Well, they're all 8mm wires.
Oh, okay.
And these are 8mm high temps from like your parts store. I also noticed there are no good heat shields around these manifolds either.
Nope.
No, so we're just itching for trouble here.
So it's this one right here is number 1.
Okay.
So it's this wire right here if you want to hook onto it.
Yep, let me go get my ignition timing set. So I have my rusty trusty timing light here. Set that there for now. Works real simple. Matt, you hook this to the battery, positive to positive, negative to negative. Go over the back.
Now?
Yeah. Which one's positive?
That one's positive.
Sure about that?
Yes, there's a positive right next to the terminal, and that's a negative.
Yeah, black lead certainly give it to wonder.
Yeah, noticed. That should work.
Well, just hope it's not a high voltage thing. And then this simply goes over your number 1 spark plug so that it gets a trigger so it knows when to fire the light, and that will shine on there. And let's see where we ride. So Matt, go ahead and touch her off. Let's see where she's at.
Turn it on completely?
Yep. All right. Fire it up. What I did is I brought it down to a bone idle, so it's not being held open by a choke or anything. The vac advance is closed. I know that because when I hooked it up, I made sure that I had the right port on the carburetor. Originally, when I got to the car in Hawaii, it was backwards, so I got that set right. Now we got to check the cold timing on it. So now, each time that strobe fires is when that number 1 spark plug fires. We'll be able to see the strobing action on a timing mark right there. Oh, look at that. There's markings on the belt, on the dampener. They might have put a performance dampener on there.
That's good.
Turn the light off. Without twisting the distributor, Matthew, there's a nut right there.
Okay.
Loosen that nut a little bit. Use your open end. Does it even fit? Is that the right size?
Can you give me a 5/8? Wait, no, this works.
I might have a distributor wrench that size.
Well, I loosened it.
Huh?
I loosened it.
Did you?
Yes.
I have a 1/2 inch distributor wrench for Ford.
How loose should it be?
Just loose, just like a twisted distributor. So what I'll do, Matt, is while we're running it, I'll twist the distributor and that adjust your timing.
Okay.
Because it changes the direction. The rotor will always be pointing in the same spot.
Okay.
So you're changing where the spark jumps to your plugs.
Got it.
And where it triggers your coil.
Okay.
If you think about it, everything's rotating. Okay, so when it comes to timing, think about it. When that strobe hits, it's almost like everything's stationary.
Okay.
So think about it like think about it opposite. Everything that rotates is stationary. Everything that is stationary is rotating, and that's what strobe lights kind of make it look like, right? Okay. So when that fires, it always fires in the same spot. That rotor turning that distributor, the shaft turning the distributor rotor is going to be always in the same spot.
Okay.
But what you're doing is you're turning the casing around that rotor.
Okay.
thus moving your crank trigger, because it's really not a crank trigger, it's triggering off of the cam, off of the rotor in the distributor. Okay. So you're changing the position of your trigger, and you're changing the position of your wire in the distributor cap.
Okay.
But the rotor itself remains stationary.
Okay.
Like I said, in reality, it's always spinning.
Yeah.
You're just changing the spot of where it fires and the proper wire going to the proper plug.
Okay.
That's how you alter your timing.
Will do. If you need to loosen any more, there's your wrench.
All right, Matt, start it up, and then I'll have you watch me change the timing. Hold your timing light on that setup. Don't worry about the camera, just work. Hold your timing light on that setup there. Okay. Way to go. Heavy advance. It went up. So it's heavier advance. Yeah. That's 0. That's no advance at all right there.
Okay. That's out horrible.
Right. Heavy advance gives you more RPM. That's a 20-degree advance right there.
Okay.
Get me a small regular screwdriver. Bring that RPM down now. RPM right now.
Where should it be?
Around there. Okay. The problem is, if there's not a low-key ass cam, the cam will try to go.
Oh, okay.
You gotta bear in mind, it's mismatched. You got the wrong cam to the wrong intake.
True.
We're running a little more than 20 now. Oh, we're right about at it. Checking for its response, how quick it'll jump.
Okay.
All right, cut her off. Without twisting the distributor.
Tighten it?
Tighten it. Now 20 degrees seems a bit extreme, but this is not a stock engine, so it's just a matter of touchy-feel it now, you know? I don't think we're advanced enough, and I don't think the guys that put this together knew how to check for detonation, or what I call pre-detonation, which is actually a more accurate term. Take your timing, we'll take timing lights out, close the hood, and we'll take it for a ride.
Okay.
And if she has pre-detonation, you'll know it.
Okay. Shut the hood?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
Sweet. Put a doormat, let her out.
Will do.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Caught that on film too.
Yeah, you got me on film one season.
All right, fire her up, bag her out. characteristics going to be different now.
Okay.
Don't go through the dirt. Go that way.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got a different idle now.
Yeah. Like it's almost trying to kill itself.
I might have to open it a little bit more. Or enriching it. Go to the front of the property. See if it's a little more responsive. How's that feel?
Feels better.
When you're driving and just maintaining speed, do you hear like a clacker, like a, you know how my Caterpillar has like a clatter or a clatter to it?
Yeah. I didn't notice anything like that, neither when I was giving throttle either.
You'll know it if it happens. Okay, so you could do a couple more, just drive it around a little bit back and forth to see, but we can also adjust it, advance it a little bit more if you want also.
Okay.
But there's a point where you heavy advance, it's going to be very hard starting also. So see if you like the way it's set. Okay. And I'll film you and then let me know.
Out of idle, it seems a little like, if you put it in gear, it seems like it wants to drop immediately.
Yeah, but I could raise the curb idle.
That's pretty much the only concern I have at the moment. So I'll just take it around a few more
times. We'll drive it around a couple times and see. But when you pull away this time, give her, you know, don't try to light the tires up, but give her a smart pull out.
All right, we'll do.
Feel?
It did give me a little bit of trouble. I did give it a little throttle. I was about 45 when I was going to 55. I was slowing it down and then I gave it a little throttle. It hiccuped a little bit and then caught right up. But it didn't happen after that at all. It only happened once.
That's that lack of throttle response also because of that intake.
Yeah.
Okay.
That, it's okay.
For a point of reference, I'm going to get and take it for a ride. I drove it a little yesterday. See how we do it. We almost sucked up a half a tank of gas yesterday.
Oh well. What, Dad?
Nothing. A little bit. It's a lot better than it was. It still could be. That throttle still sticks.
Yeah.
So you just give it a double tap and it seems to let loose. We
Okay.
got to figure that out. Let's run her up a little, advance a little hotter, and see what we get from there. I think we can still get a little bit more out of it. Not a lot more, but a little bit.
All right.
All right.
Let me hop in.